Welcome to the Impact interview at the site of Connecting Green Hydrogen Europe 2024. My name is Molly Huang, Head of Content at Leader Associates. And today we are very, very excited to engage in a conversation with Mr. Javier Goni, Chief Executive Officer from Fertiberia.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you so much, Javier, for joining us.
Yeah, great pleasure from my side.
Yes. I want to start by asking you the question, an ultimate question. What does green hydrogen mean to you as CEO of Fertiberia?
Well, green hydrogen means a lot to me as CEO of Fertiberia, given that basically we've been producing hydrogen for 15 years, and hydrogen is one of the best elements for our fertilizer, ammonia and fertilizer production. Today, we've been managing hydrogen for already decades, and now the key challenge is to be able to transition from gray hydrogen into green hydrogen. Today, in our case, basically, we consume 170,000 tons of hydrogen, which represents between 25 and 30% of the total hydrogen consumption in Spain. So it's a large figure. And then out of that, basically, we see it in two buckets. First of all, we have our own hydrogen production, today based on natural gas to produce ammonia. We have two ammonia sites in our industrial base. So we produce almost 100,000 tons of hydrogen. But on top of that, we import from the international markets a lot of ammonia. And that's basically hydrogen in the form of ammonia. That's that's also an area that in the future we'll need to decarbonize. And and this is also a very important part of our asset base. We believe that this transition is a great opportunity for our company. We are lucky of being actually in one of the geographies in which you can produce green hydrogen in the most competitive manner. And for instance, just the results of the auction of the European Hydrogen Bank is a clear proof of that Spain got a large share of funds given the competitive position of projects of hydrogen projects in Spain. Basically for us, it's very clear. I mean, we have the ambition to decarbonize. We have announced a net zero by 2035. So that means that we need to address our scope 1 emissions. We also need to address our scope 3 emissions. And for that, we are working extensively to get there, and therefore to be able to have a fully decarbonized asset base in the near future.
Yes, Fertiberia is definitely a committed investor and the front runner in clean energy transition.
Yep.
And also, I want to ask you some in-depth questions regarding the industry.
Yep.
Technology and the commercialization are probably the two keywords of our era. So from a high-level perspective, what is your perspective regarding the technological development nowadays?
Well, I think in technology, we talk about technology when we speak about competitiveness of green hydrogen projects. And that's one of the things. I would like, first of all, to say that technology is not the only element of green hydrogen projects. So I think that to have a green hydrogen project that is competitive, you need to address, first of all, the competitiveness of your electricity sourcing. That's the biggest bucket of your future cost base. Of course, you need to have technology for electrolyzers that fit with the project you've done. And for that, it's very important to understand how can be the profile of hydrogen production, whether you have a base load, whether you have peaks, whether you are grid connected, whether you are not grid connected, whether you have a base load of supply of electricity. And for that, for sure, the decisions, whether you go for alkaline, for PEM, or for other technologies is very important. What we see is that, technology is evolving, but we are still, it is still an immature industry. We saw, for instance, in renewables and solar production that once production capacity world doubled, prices and costs basically went down by 35%. I think something similar will happen in the electrolyzer industry. Today, I think there is a situation in which we have an industry that is on one side we have some large players, on the other side we have the smaller players. I don't know how the industry will evolve. There will be a substantial. I think that the winners are more the ones that have deep and sound balance sheets to address the future innovation, to scale up, to create these gigafactories. And I think that's extremely important. And we see that there will be a learning curve, there will be learning effect, and we'll see goes down in the future. But what we have experienced in general all across the globe is that what we have found in our projects in general is that actually the prices and the cost of the electrolyzers, I would say that in general are higher than what the industry expected, let's say 3 years ago. Not only at the end, not only the stacks, but also the balance of plants and everything, given the inflation that we have had in the world, very high levels of inflation, and that has been a key element. But in any case, I'm positive. I think this is just an industry in which there is huge attention. There is excellent companies with huge capabilities that are doing an excellent job, and I think that the industry, as there is more demand, and the industry will continue developing, and there is a bright future. That's what I think.
Yes, as you mentioned, cost is a key issue right now,
Yep.
and on the flip side of the technology is commercialization.
Yep. I mean, in the projects, in order to get to an FID, it is key there to have the offtakes. And that's probably one of the most difficult areas right now in green hydrogen production, to secure the offtakes. Why? Because the offtakes at the end need to take a market risk. Now, the problem we face, CEOs, is that when you address a green hydrogen project, you see the economics, and at the end you end up with a number. Okay, this is the price of hydrogen I'm going to have, and this is, in our case, the potential cost of ammonia that we can have. And the question is, okay, and this is going to be in 3-4 years' time, but this price is going to be competitive. With this price, can I sustain a business case? And that's the key thing. So I think that of course, there's many ways of approaching it. I think that phasing is one very important element. In our case, we started with, we were the front runner, as you said. We agreed to have a green hydrogen within our facility of ammonia facility in the center of Spain, in Puerto Llano. Of course, it is true that it is for small volumes, but we took the risk, and we took the risk, and now we are producing green ammonia, we're producing green fertilizers. We launched what we call an impact zero fertilizer range, that is low carbon fertilizers, and for that we're market makers. We're developing the market, and we are learning by doing it. Actually, we found that within the food value chain, basically the highest ambitions for decarbonization were in large consumer good corporations, for instance. So we've become a partner that is able to help these consumer goods, food and beverage consumer good industries, and we are helping them to decarbonize. And we learned that actually it is not the traditional retailer for fertilizers, our key contact person. It is actually the final brands, and then they generate and we generate together in our partnerships a pull effect, so that we create incentives for all the value chain to decarbonize. And that is one element in which we are proving that we are being successful. Of course, our core business is fertilizers. This is what we are doing. Of course, we are doing this in a smart manner. So we don't only talk about just low carbon and decarbonization. We talk about sustainability in general. So what we are offering is a solution for this type of food verticals and crops to be fully sustainable, being low carbon one part of it, but there are other ingredients in this sustainability element. So we create a winning value proposition to help the European agriculture to achieve the new next level sustainability targets. And actually, large consumer brands are the ones that are influencing the value chain to get it there. Of course, there will be many more opportunities. Not only green hydrogen in our case will serve only to decarbonize the fertilizer production. There is a bright future for green ammonia. I think green ammonia, initially we only thought about ammonia mainly as a fertilizer raw material, and also for some industrial applications. But now we see huge interest and already extraordinary things happening. For instance, in the mobility, in transportation, in shipping, where we have had discussions with OEMs, and basically we see these developments in technologies, in dual engines, in the ability to introduce ammonia, clean ammonia as a fuel. And we believe that's going to happen. And we believe that, for instance, the maritime sector, there are clear incentives from regulation. We believe that those incentives will also will expand to other sectors. And so regulation will be driving on one side, then technology improvements and the scale of the projects will continue helping to reduce the costs. And I think that the end will get there.
Yes, I can sense the confidence you have, and also with your concrete developments, your concrete actions.
Yeah.
I believe it will be a true success in the future.
Yeah. We think there's a successful future. In our case, I mean, we just basically we said, hey, we need to show the markets our commitment or to decarbonization, but we do it by doing. So we are very proud of having been the first actually producing green hydrogen, green ammonia already 2 years ago. We're very happy of having already success stories in developing new markets for low carbon fertilizers, also for low carbon industrial products. And we just signed with Orica, the leading company, an agreement to supply with the technical ammonium nitrate for the mining operations, low carbon. So we believe there is a very bright future, and the way we have approached this is basically defining a clear roadmap, but executing. Of course, being very cautious on the risks, starting by initial pilot phases and then escalating those. And we are very happy of having taken this way.
I also want to ask you about partnerships. To build a multi-billion market industry, partnership and collaboration is super important.
For sure. I think this is to develop this new low carbon economy. We cannot think of our companies as an isolated element on the value chain. I think we need to be able to cooperate with the value chain to develop winning solutions. In the case of green hydrogen, green ammonia, I think it's clear that we need to create consortiums in which we need to bring companies that are the best in doing whatever is required in that value chain. For instance, and we started with Iberdrola for the supply of, then we're now developing a good projects with CEPSA. It's very important to understand that it's key to find this collaboration. I think it's important, the concept of clusters. I think it's important. What I see is that there will be in the future clusters of green hydrogen production, in which there will be a combination of utility companies providing electricity, of companies developing hydrogen projects closely linked to consumers, and on-site consumption, I think, will be key, especially in the first phases. Easy and cheap infrastructure for storage, and for that, clusters, valleys. I think it's a great concept to start deploying this new green hydrogen economy. So, and for that, I mean, at the end, we need to recognize our capacity and our ability. We have, every company has the size it has. Every company has the key skills, the core business, and we just need to cooperate to help to integrate projects so that we come up with something very competitive. It is very important to have in the first stages guarantee of the offtake. So what we see in the world is that in many hubs there are several offtakes that are guaranteeing at least the first phases of the green hydrogen or low carbon hydrogen development. I think that's very important. That's why we see so many companies in the refining sector, in the fertilizer sector involved, and cooperation between these sectors in which that were not as used in the past to cooperate as we are cooperating now. And I think that's extremely important. And I think that consortiums, valleys, hubs gonna play a key role. This is not about fighting the war alone. This is basically addressing an opportunity altogether. That's the way I say it.
True. Hydrogen is developing fastly in past years, but now we need to make it more industrialized, more streamlined.
Yeah, exactly.
And wrapping up today's interview, I want to ask you about the future shape of Fertiberia in the clean energy sector.
Well, I think that it is important. I mean, for us, the way we see it is we take this as an opportunity. We are realistic in the sense that we know what our core business is. And our core business is fertilizer production, ammonia production. That's our core business. What we see is that we want to have in the future a company that, first of all, has a highly competitive asset base. And that's very important. Second, we want to decarbonize that asset base, but we need to be selective on decarbonization. I think that companies cannot just go and decarbonize everything. You need to select what's your first step in decarbonization. So I believe that we'll be able to have decarbonized fertilizer production step by step. With that, also, that will help us to develop other things, because green ammonia, and once we have low carbon ammonia or green ammonia, then other opportunities might come. Are we going to become a big utility, an energy company? I think we need to be realistic. I mean, we are a fertilizer company, but what we want to be is a supplier of green, highly sustainable fertilizers with a high lot of technology. We believe that all of this is the opportunity to achieve that, to move from a traditional fertilizer company into a leader in providing with sustainable crop nutrition solutions to decarbonize the European agriculture. We believe that for sure there will be additional opportunities, but I think it is very important that every company has to understand that at the end, we need to have a reflection of what is our core business and how we can enhance our core business, benefiting from the opportunities of this energy transition. But yes, we see Fertiberia as a clear leader in sustainable fertilizers, including the low carbon concept, and probably there will be also future opportunities in green ammonia for other uses that, as soon as they come, we'll address them. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
your advice and your recommendation for the whole industry.
Thank